From the earliest moments of your life, before you could speak or even understand the world around you, an insidious idea was quietly planted in your mind that you are not enough. This belief wasn't something you consciously chose. It didn't arrive through reason or reflection. It was fed to you through glances, remarks, and silent comparisons. Slowly, almost invisibly, it took root. We grow up surrounded by messages that tell us we're broken, that we need fixing, that who we are isn't quite right. Parents, teachers, peers, the media all participate in this subtle programming, and bit by bit, you begin to internalize it. You start to believe that something about you is inherently flawed. Alfred Adler, a pioneer in the field of psychology, saw this reality long before it became a popular discussion. He understood that what we often perceive as a personal failure is actually a societal construct. He recognized that feelings of inferiority are not natural. They are learned, created through unrealistic standards, persistent comparisons, and the constant emphasis on our shortcomings. You were not born doubting yourself. You were trained to. And as long as you carry this belief like it belongs to you, you remain trapped in a false narrative, one that was never yours to begin with. But now only you have the power to dismantle. This video is your invitation to break that lie, to pull back the curtain and see through the illusions that have painted you as small, incapable, or unworthy. We'll explore the mind of Adler, uncover his radical understanding of the inferiority complex, and reveal a path not paved with feel-good affirmations, but with a true and lasting shift in how you see yourself. It's time to stop fighting against yourself and start standing with yourself. Because here's the truth. The world will always reflect back what you believe about yourself. If you see yourself as less, the world will treat you that way. But if you're ready to challenge that belief and take back your inner power, stay with me. Let's tear down the lies and rebuild your self-image. This time, with awareness. At the turn of the 20th century, Alfred Adler broke away from traditional psychoanalysis and introduced one of the most powerful and misunderstood ideas in psychology, the inferiority complex. To Adler, feeling inadequate wasn't a personal flaw. It was an unavoidable part of growing up. Every child, he said, comes into this world fragile, dependent, and deeply aware of their smallness. This awareness of limitation is natural. It is not harmful on its own. In fact, Adler believed it could be incredibly motivating. He argued that our sense of inferiority can fuel ambition, drive growth, and inspire great achievement. It creates a tension between who we are and who we aspire to become. A tension that propels us forward. But here's the twist. That same energy, if poisoned by constant criticism, comparison, or rejection, transforms from motivation into torment. What begins as a healthy desire to grow becomes a deeply painful belief that we are fundamentally flawed. It's not that we think we need to improve. It's that we believe we're broken. This shift is subtle but devastating. Families often, without realizing it, sow these seeds. When expectations are rigid, when comparisons are constant, and when affection is conditional, the child internalizes a toxic message. I am not enough. Statements like, why can't you be more like your sister? Or the silent judgment following a mistake speak louder than we think. They don't just critique actions, they form identity. Over time, the child stops saying, I failed, and begins saying, I am a failure. Schools reinforce this with rigid grading systems, standardized tests, and ranking structures that reward conformity and punish difference. The individual disappears, numbers take over, worth is quantified, and then society steps in. The media, advertising, and social platforms push a singular narrative of success. Perfect bodies, curated lifestyles, flawless appearances. You're told to chase these ideals. And if you can't reach them, it must be because you're lacking. You learn to look in the mirror and only see what's missing. You begin to believe that who you are is insufficient, and that only through constant self-improvement or consumption can you become someone worth loving. This is not a personal issue. This is a systemic design. The world profits from your self-doubt. Insecurity drives markets. Dissatisfaction keeps the wheels turning. You're not broken. You've been manipulated to feel that way. But Adler saw a way out. He realized that because this feeling of inferiority is learned, it can also be unlearned. The prison was constructed, but the key is in your hands. So pause, reflect. What beliefs about yourself were planted in childhood? What ideas still shape your fears, your choices, your limits? Recognizing the origin is the first step toward reclaiming your life. Because the moment you see that this feeling of being less than was imposed on you, not chosen by you, you begin to reclaim your story. And the deeper truth is this: the world isn't invested in your freedom. It thrives on your insecurity. It markets solutions to problems it created. From school, you learned that your value is tied to performance. From media, that your worth is tied to appearance. From social platforms, that your happiness must be performative. Nothing about your authentic self was ever good enough. Every product, every trend, every influencer tells you the same thing. You are not there yet. You are missing something. But for a price, you can buy your way to being enough. It's a cycle. Feel inadequate, consume, repeat. And when the high fades, you're left even more hollow than before. Even relationships fall into this pattern. They become transactional, based on validation rather than connection. You feel seen only when you perform, loved only when you conform. And soon, you start believing that the mask you wear is the only version of you that deserves acceptance. Adler warned us. When society prizes image over integrity, comparison over connection, we begin to lose ourselves. But it doesn't have to be this way. True healing begins not when you fix yourself, but when you stop believing you're broken. It begins when you face your wounds without shame and see them as proof of your strength, not your weakness. Adler introduced the idea of compensation, that our perceived weaknesses, when acknowledged and channeled, can become our greatest strengths. The timid child might grow into a powerful speaker. The rejected youth might become a compassionate leader. But only if, and this is crucial, they confront their inferiority directly, without masking it, without running from it. Most people, Adler said, choose a different path. They chase false superiority. They seek status, admiration, control, not out of confidence, but to hide their pain. And in doing so, they lose touch with themselves. Each achievement becomes a mask, each success, a shield. But beneath it all, the wound remains. And the more you try to hide it, the more it controls you. The true danger is not feeling inferior. It's building your life around escaping that feeling. But there is another way. It starts by letting go of the belief that you are a mistake. As long as you hold on to that lie, every effort at change will be rooted in self-hate, not self-love. You'll try to transform yourself not out of vision, but out of rejection. Adler believed that power lies in embracing the totality of who you are. Light and shadow, strength and weakness. Wholeness is not found in perfection. It's found in truth. And in a world built on your insecurity, nothing is more radical than self-acceptance. You don't need to become someone else. You need to become yourself, fully, unapologetically. The version of you that existed before you were taught to feel ashamed. So how do you begin this transformation? First, take ownership of your life. What hurt you is not your fault, But healing is your responsibility. Blaming others, the past, or the system may be justified, but it keeps you stuck. Liberation begins with ownership. Second, stop defining yourself through others. Comparison is the lifeblood of the inferiority complex. It keeps you chained to standards that were never yours. Your journey is your own. You are not here to be better than anyone. You are here to be whole. Third, find purpose beyond self-validation. Adler believed that real transformation comes through contribution, through meaningful relationships, service, and community. When your focus shifts from proving your worth to sharing your gifts, inferiority loses its grip. These steps are not quick fixes. They are a lifelong practice, a daily recommitment to your truth. And most importantly, they require courage. The courage to face your pain, to shed your masks, to build a new identity not on society's terms, but on your own. No one is coming to rescue you. There is no praise, no achievement, no validation that can fill the void created by self-rejection. But the good news is, you don't need saving. You were never broken. The pain you carry, it's not evidence of your failure. It's evidence of your survival. Adler didn't give us a path of comfort. He gave us a path of truth. And truth, when embraced, is what finally sets you free. So the choice is yours. You can return to the old story, the one that says you are lacking, unworthy, flawed, or you can begin writing a new one. Not a story of perfection, but a story of power, a story of self-acceptance, a story that finally belongs to you.